trading with one Solana. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you a strategy I use to actually scalp coins with a very small portfolio. Now, when I say small portfolio, I mean literally less than $100, and you can use this scalping strategy by yourself. Now, I've had multiple videos showing you guys me trading with 0.1 Solana or 1 Solana, and you guys have actually been able to see me make, big profits in these videos. And as you guys know, meme coins are always changing. So then my strategies are always developing, and that's why I've made this video to show you guys an up-to-date strategy that I have been using to scalp coins with a small portfolio. I haven't been trading recently because I've just had some long-term plays that I actually called out in my call group, and those are going pretty well. So currently I'm kind of waiting for the market to decide where it wants to go. But whether the volume is slow or fast or whenever you're trading, this strategy can always work. Now for this video, I am going to be using Axiom. So to follow along, you are going to have to use Axiom. And to use Axiom, you guys can use my referral link down below. It will give you 10% off the fees, and it'll also give you some amazing cash backs. But let's go over some of the filters I actually use in Axiom, and a lot of other trading services offer the same filters. So if you guys are using a different trading platform, then you can still follow along. Now, how does scalping work? What exactly is scalping? Basically, scalping is when you're in and out of trades within minutes. Now, for the most part, most people, when they say scalping, is a coin comes down, you buy the dip, and the coin barely pumps and you sell it for a quick profit. Whether it's a 2x or more or only a 50% gain, you will be selling based off of certain variables I'm going to be showing you guys in this video. And obviously, determining when to sell and all that can be very hard. So that's exactly what comes with this strategy. Now, what amount would I recommend to do if you guys are going to try this out for yourself? Basically, I'd recommend to at least have 1 Solana, but obviously the more Solana you have, the less emotions come into play, and actually the more leverage you can actually kind of put into these trades. So if you do have something like 5 Solana, you can obviously go into trades with 0.5 Solana, but when you have something like 1 Solana, then you should be only going into trades with around 0.25 Solana. Now, yes, you could still scalp with this little amount, and it's actually very possible to still break some good profits. Now, just in the last couple of days, or last 7 days might I say, I was able to crack around $17.4 thousand in profit. And this has been through multiple strategies, but one of them is actually this scalping strategy. Now, if you guys are interested in the other strategies, make sure you join my free Telegram group where I actually show some of these strategies for free. So you guys know what scalping is, and you know how much Solana you're gonna need. So let's just get into the first step with the scalping strategy. Now, the first step is setting up the filters. Now, a lot of the times when you're scalping, you're not gonna be really using new pairs. The reason is because these new pairs are very risky, and the chance that you lose money is much, much higher. So I, for the most part, would stay away from new pairs if you are gonna be trading these meme coins and trying the strategy out for yourself. And especially if you don't wanna take as much risk, new pairs is a very dangerous area to actually trade in. So what we're gonna be focusing on is this middle column. And the reason is because a lot of these coins will pump, have that pullback, and then we can enter. Now, here's some of my filters I currently have. Now, obviously these are always changing, and the platforms are always changing that you want to focus on. Now, you can honestly select all, but I wouldn't recommend that because some of these other ones just have no chance of doing well. You could obviously do Jupiter Studio or Launch Lab. These are two very good platforms. I just don't see a lot of senders on there recently. Now, yes, you're going to be using Sol USD and USD1. USD1 is actually amazing for this strategy, but obviously you can do this with Sol as well. Now let's get on to the filters. The first one, you want to put age 30 minutes as a maximum. A lot of the times with scalping strategies, you're going to be using volume to your advantage. So when a lot of people are trading a coin, it's going up, it's going down all the time. And this is exactly what you want to take to your advantage. This is where you're able to take these quick little trades and make some good profit in between all the volume. Second is the metrics. I would put 25,000. If a coin is going above that, it really minimizes the volume, and also it minimizes how much profit you're actually able to make. And that's honestly basically it for the metrics and filters. Now, what exactly do I look for when I am trading? Basically, what you're looking for is a coin that just recently has pumped and been around for more than a couple of seconds. So just looking at this, I could see this coin right here looks like a great example. 2 minutes, has pretty good trading volume, as you can see, 21K, and the market cap is around 10K. Now, as you guys could see, we actually missed a critical scalp right here that we could have took, and this was an easy 2x right here alone. Now, how are you gonna know where to enter when you're using this strategy? So let me tell you guys exactly how you're gonna know. So first, you see this coin come out and it'll probably pop up on your radar right as it comes out since it instantly went to 12K. Now, how do you know this coin is good? A bunch of people are buying, selling it, and there's just some insane volume coming through. And obviously, like I've said before, the holders don't look suspicious. 20K at 14,000 market cap is pretty good, but obviously this will probably rug. The only reason I say that is because these big spikes usually means that there is a bundler inside of this coin. So how would you know to actually enter on this dip? There's a couple of key factors you could actually look at, but a great one if you're a very big beginner is actually looking for the breakout. Now, obviously, you're going to want to make sure that you're entering at the bottom. This is the most optimal area to enter, but what I would recommend is obviously entering on a dip. So a great example would be this dip, for example. If you actually wanted to take this trade, then you would enter right now. But obviously, you also have to check a few things on the coin and see if it's actually a good coin. So how would I know to enter here? The first step, the volume. The volume is good. Then yes, this is a potential coin that you want to enter into to use this strategy. Second, does the volume look fake? So like I said, I knew this coin was going to rug just because the volume looked very fake with these certain spikes and candles. Now, if you aren't able to determine that, then I do also have a mentorship that you guys can check down below where I go over how you can actually see if it is a scam. Just literally looking at the chart, I knew this thing was going to dump, and you guys saw that live. Now, how would you know to enter down here? It's the critical point of 7,000. Now, there is a couple of critical market caps. Now, a coin when it spawns in is usually around 7,000 to 5,000. And now this solely is based off of the Solana price. It does differentiate a lot, but basically the reason it starts here is because there's already some Solana in the pool. And now why do you want to enter at the bottom when the coin is literally dirt cheap? Is because you're buying as much supply for as cheap as possible. Obviously, the higher you buy, the less supply you're going to get with your purchase amount. So for this example, if you do enter at the critical, kind of level of 7,000 or even 10,000 and you're able to hold it, well, then you would been able to get a either 2x or at least 60% gain on your portfolio. Now, the cool thing a lot of YouTubers don't actually tell you is when you trade with a smaller portfolio, it's much easier to actually get these big percentage gains. And the reason is because the more Solana I'm using, the more exit liquidity I need. So basically, if I'm trading with, 5 Solana instead of 0.25, well, the coin is going to have to move way higher for me to actually exit in the profits that my screen is showing. But when you're trading with something smaller like 0.25, well, the profits that are shown on your screen are almost 100% what you're going to be getting. Now, I know a lot of you guys are questioning, how do you dodge these fees? Obviously, there's some insane fees when you do have a small portfolio, and these could really mess up scalping. So this is actually the second thing I want to go over is fees. Now, obviously, I use very different fees due to me having a bigger portfolio. But if I were to scalp, these are the fees I would want to use. First off, don't press auto fee, because if you have auto fee, this will eat at you a bunch. You're actually going to turn that off, and you're going to put the priority to very, very low. Now, this is super low right here. And honestly, your trades are going to be so slow. So this is something you really have to keep in mind when you're entering a trade. It is going to be really slow compared to other people, for example, like me, who are using 0.03 as a priority fee. It's just going to be much slower compared to how fast my trades enter. But obviously that is not an issue because the whole point of scalping is getting in and out quick. Now, this is a great example of a coin. Now, the volume was insane on this thing, absolutely ripping right here. And even if we do look at the hour volume, it got 65,000 K in volume, so that's actually really good. I would kind of try to shoot for something above 20K in the last hour, and then in the last 5 minutes I'd shoot for something at least over bare minimum like 2-3K. So if you were to enter at these critical levels, once again, like we can see, it's not exactly 7K, but it did have a huge dip into that range of 7 to 10K. This is a very good buying area. So if you're able to enter here in this buying area, which I'm assuming a lot of people were able to because it hit it almost 3-4 times, well, boom, you have a very quick secured 2.5x. And this is a great example of a trade where you can actually use this to your advantage. You would enter with a smaller portfolio, and honestly you could have entered anywhere here, so even a 10K entry would have been safe. It's all about how good the coin is, and that's actually the next step in determining if the coin is good. Now, how do you know if a coin is good? Obviously this is very different for scalping, because a lot of the times I recommend is to check if the coin is real, legit, and it's actually, you know, based. But with scalping, the cool thing is that you don't actually have to trade legit coins. You have to just be early and make sure that everyone else believes it's legit. So for this example, we have this coin bruh. Now honestly, I wouldn't recommend trading coins based off of a meme that someone has made. Like bruh isn't that funny, but good coins like coin and then the symbol that just came out are based off of basically lore or news. So like no one's ever done this coin where it's using this weird emoji or weird symbol. So it's super original and it's kind of based off of, you know, something that no one has ever done before. Now if we look at this scalp trade, I'm not 100% sure if we literally just missed this, but as you guys could see, I was just drawing on this chart and it actually went to 50,000. So live while we were recording this video, I showed you an entry and this thing pumped to over 4x, so it's a little sad. I'm just not gonna look at that chart. But as you guys can see, basically it's based off of this meta and people really believed in that coin. And the thing is, when you're scalping, you mainly wanna be focusing on your entries. I wouldn't recommend, you know, obviously checking so deep into if the coin is good or not, due to us trying to get in and out of trades as quick as possible. So a couple things to, you know, dodge when you're looking at a coin are these ones where people try to make their own meme. So Perrito, like it's not that funny. But good trades to get into is something like Sparkle, where someone actually finds some certain lore about a coin and no one knows if they're lying or not. So the coin is absolutely going up and down a bunch and the volume's going crazy, 20,000 in 5 minutes. So even this coin, you would see this dip and it came down to the critical level of 7,000 and it absolutely skyrocketed to a 2x. So it's a great example. Now you could find these coins in new pairs. Like I said, you don't want to be buying in new pairs, but you can obviously stare at new pairs. And if you see a coin come out that interests you, well then you could just look at it real quick and see if it is actually a good coin to look into or potentially buy. So for example, this Chad coin right here, does it have good lore? Cadmium. Yeah, it doesn't really, you know, follow what this guy's talking about, but this could be a potential good coin. As you guys can see, it is pretty sniped, which I showed you guys how to look for in the last couple of videos. But yeah, this would be a decent entry, you know, on this coin. Obviously, we want to make sure it is official and it's actually, you know, the legit coin that this guy is going to be pushing. But as you guys could see, just even in that 1 second, I didn't make anything, but I was able to not lose anything. I made like 0.01 Solana. So basically I made like $2.30 right there, but that's not what we're going for. The main lesson is basically trade coins based off of news if you are scalping, because the volume on them is usually much more crazy. So hopefully you guys understood how to actually scalp and use this strategy. Let me know if you have questions down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.